Good heavens, that is bright. Ooh. Oh. All right. Hello. Welcome back to the channel. You may be wondering, if you've seen my first video, why I'm still wearing the same clothes. And it's because I only have one shirt. No, it's because I'm too lazy to get my winter clothes down from the attic. And it's really fucking cold. Anyways, I got my hot tea to warm me up. And we're gonna do a makeup tutorial video. I am still very new to YouTube. I did not have a microphone when I shot this video. I shot it with my iPhone in the vertical format. Portrait format. I shot it in portrait format. So it's gonna look a little wonky. Bear with me. All of my future tutorials will not have that going on. It's also really, I keep on wanting to look at the top. My camera's over here now. Anyways, we're now on a landscape mode. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. This is a Corpse Bride tutorial, and yeah, there's gonna be another one after this because I did this for a con. I was prepping for a con, so my idea was to transition from one blue based costume to another blue based costume. So yeah, so it's a little wonky, and you just bear with me, but you know, here we go. All right, so starting out, we've got face paint. So I'm using Mehron. You can basically find it anywhere. You can find it on Amazon, but it's kind of one of the more standard face paints. I'm using the water-based face paints, just because I do better with that. I like blending it with eyeshadow and stuff, and I'm really not a fan of having the greasy face paints on. I am using an actual brush and a cup of water to activate the paint. Now the trick is to not get it too wet or that's soupy. So I kind of dumped it out and then I just really worked it in until I had more of a paste. You want a little bit closer to like the thick paint that you normally paint with. There you go. So you try to do it in big, long strokes as much as you can. I know it's a little bit harder on the center of the face, but as you see, I'm going down with my cheeks. Doing what I can there. And for this look, I'm not being super perfect with my strokes because she has rough skin already. Okay, as you can see, I have gotten my wig cap on that I should have put on before I started this painting. I've also covered my chest at this point, doing those long strokes. I've painted around the edges of the wig cap so you can't see my hair. We spray to set. I know I spread this up, but I take forever painting. So we are powdering everything. Powder, powder everywhere. This will help set the paint. And it'll help if you need to add layers, such as eyeshadow. So I will put all of these products in the description below. I could tell you what brush that is, but then I'd have to know what brush that is. So I just that's one of my favorite brushes to kind of use for everything. Anyways, so first I'm going in and I am just darkening up that entire socket. So I know I'm starting out with the eyelid here, but we are going to cover the whole dang thing. And the reason is that we're trying to create that sunken depth that the Corpse Bride has. And here's an example. So as you can see, a lot of everything is sunken about her, but we really want to create that depth around the eyes. So that is what we're doing here. That's why we're continuing it underneath to just give it all around that sunken effect. And probably past me is saying right now, try your best to follow your own bone structure. So when you're filling out your own sockets, you can see where your brow bone sits. Underneath your brow bone is your eye socket. That's where you should be filling in the blue. The better makeup looks follow the person who's wearing the makeup's bone structure. That is always going to be true no matter what makeup look you're trying. So that is what I'm doing here. And I am just going in, packing it in more and more. And now here's how I contour because I'm not great at contouring. Again, coming in with the blue, that same color, and just really deepening that contour. Because this is a costume look, it's okay to get exaggerated with your contour. I know a lot of people, you know, in their normal everyday life contour. I'm not one of them, probably because I can only do exaggerated looks. It's a real problem. It's my problem though, and I'll figure it out. But it does help in this. So I am second in my cheeks because that helps me define where my cheekbones are. And you want to put the contour just below where the highest point of your cheekbones are. And again, follow your own bone structure. It's gonna make it look so much better. All right, so now I am contouring my jaw. She has a very dainty jaw, so you honestly go heavy there. The whole point is to kind of make you look a little bit more pointed because she has a very pointed face. And you'll see me turn and look because I am constantly checking my reference image. It is always good to have a reference image up if you are creating one of your own looks based off a character. So I am also really good at giving myself a goatee when I try to contour my lip. I am a strong believer in if it doesn't look good, you probably just didn't blend it enough. So we're blended. Here I am curving up that contour a little bit to try to make my cheeks look a little bit more gaunt. I myself have some lovely chubby jowls. I don't know really what you call them. So I'm adding that extra curve to help me out. If you don't need to, you don't need to, but you know, it's there if you need it. Kind of looking a little bit like Voldemort at this point, and that's only gonna get worse. All right, so body contour. Shrug up your shoulders and you can find the pockets behind your clavicles. You wanna put blue down in there too. What that's gonna do is gonna make you look more gaunt there. And again, you are a corpse, so, you know, skin and bones, try to emulate that. And we are having to blend. So go underneath your collarbones as well. And this will just help define them and make them look like they are sticking out of your skin a little bit more. I look crazy, look like I'm hulking out here. And just keep blending. I know sometimes you're gonna put it on, you're gonna be like, this looks ridiculous. And it probably does, it's okay. Do a little triangle. She's got a little bit of a triangle right here. So as you can see where her collarbones meet, she has a defined triangle right there. So that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to define, again, using my own body shape. I can tell that that is where the little pivot on my bone structure is. So that is why I'm coloring it there. Again, follow your own dang bone structure. So here we go. And I'm pulling it up the neck too to create that. All right, so nose time. Ron, don't be silly. Potter Puppet Pals, anyone? So we are trying to make the tip of my nose look as tiny as possible. So that is why we are contouring it to look so small. I do not have a finely tipped nose. Mine's a little bit longer. So I am definitely going in on that, as you can see. And again, if it looks like you're like, wow, that's a lot, just blend it. Just keep blending. Just keep blending. What do you do? You keep blending. So that is what your girl's doing here. Blend. Looking all crazy. Feeling a little crazy. Keep blending. And talking to the camera, being very unsure about your blending job. That is what's going on here in my head. All right, so we are going to make it even more intense. We are going to do an upside down triangle underneath our nose. Because again, we're trying to emulate the fact that, you know, we have half of our nose that's fallen off and in the grave because Homegirl doesn't really actually have the lower part of her nose when you look back in the movie. So I used a little bit of a darker blue to do this, as you see. And there is a good moment here where I kind of look like I'm like a weird blue cat. Just bear with me. The Voldemort vibes just keep growing, you know? So if you're at a con and you want to transform this look, you could just kind of smear off the super, you know, holes in your skin, bony pieces, and just make yourself Voldemort. Just saying. Alright, so now we are going to elongate our nostrils because once again, half her nose is torn off or rotted off, so we have to make it look like our nose has 2 gaping nostril holes. The best way to do this is to kind of just create a little bit of a triangle. You can kind of see it there. Basically, I'm coming up a straight line underneath the little bit of my, there we go, just like that. So, and don't be afraid to take those points even higher. Because I definitely realized because my nose is one that hangs, the tip of my nose hangs a little bit past my nostrils, I had to bring mine up a little bit higher to really emulate the fact that hers is tipped, you know, very high, because once again, no lower half of her nostrils. At this point, I'm beginning to look a little crazy, and I'm like, all right, sweet. I'm definitely got Voldemort vibes now. Yeah, and I have no upper lip. So, we are going back in with some more blue, because I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I want to elongate this. So, this is because I'm going for a little bit more of a pretty look by elongating that rather than a scary look. If you're wanting to go scary, I honestly say, you know, try not to make anything cat eye looking-ish because there's, you know, there's an element of beauty to that. All right, so trying to get rid of a lot of the bridge. Or just really concentrate on the bridge on my nose. Spooky! Alright, so now we are going in with the black eyeliner, liquid liner. Again, I'll have it listed below if you're interested. I'm pretty sure this is just kind of like my chintzy cheap liner. But I am creating a brow. So she has some pretty intense curved brows. I instead wanted to just do the front curve of my brow and then just follow along just with the rest looking normal. And I could say this is because this was just a personal preference, but the truth is that I forgot to glue down my eyebrows and I didn't want to have to deal with that once I figured out I had forgotten to glue down my eyebrows, so we are following my natural curve of my normal eyebrow. I also, as a side note, don't really ever do my eyebrows. So yeah, this is all just random. I really need to get them done. They're really bad. So I'm elongating my normal brow. And they're looking like something. But the point is that try to make them look sad. You want sad eyebrows because she has sad eyebrows. And then I'm going to go in with a really tiny paintbrush and a little bit of the face paint and just clean them up, but also kind of highlight that brow bone a little bit. I can't talk today. All right, so there they are. All right, so we are going in with a black now. This is to basically, we are going to now kind of draw her sad lids. She has these weird kind of pointy sad lids. As you can see, they're kind of triangular, the way that her lids are kind of falling into her sockets. So we are going to try to emulate that by drawing different lids on. I am again using just some black eyeshadow because when it is a lid like this, you do not want a super straight line, at least in my experience. But then again, I'm just really into blending all the time. I'm also following that line under just to create that lower, a little bit of that lower lash line as well, because we will be filling that in with white later to make our eyes look larger, because she's got them big old Tim Burton eyes. So here I am doing the other eyeball. You can kind of see it. It looks like crap right now, I'm gonna be honest. But again, whenever you're doing cosplay, most of the time when you're halfway through it, you're like, why did I do this? Why does it look like this? And I don't got a good answer for you, besides the fact that you're just a work in progress, and it'll look better by the end. If you keep blending, it'll look better. Anyway, so. See me pulling that under again, and just kind of trying to line out all my lower and my upper lids. Elongate them to make me look like I got big old eyeballs. All right, now we are going in with a blue again, that darker blue from that same palette. Really emphasize the fact that my lid is separate from the rest of that eye socket. We are blending it. We keep blending. Blend, blend, blendy, blendy, blend, 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 blend. Anyone ever watch that show? Or Charlie Sheen's Netflix special? Okay, so keep blending. We are moving on. We are using this Goddess palette. Again, gonna list all this stuff below. We are going to be using this. It looks kind of different on screen. It's a little bit more bluer in real life, but it does have purple tints, but she has purple tints in her own makeup. So we are going and doing the edges, kind of creating a smoky eye with that. And just once again, blending that crap out. All right, and I am trying to bring it out to a little bit more of a point. Again, I like the idea of making her look pretty. Look, she does look pretty in the movie, but if you've seen my very first video on YouTube, you've probably seen that I also enjoy doing scary looks. So occasionally I will do those. So we are going in with a different blue. You should bring all the blues, but this is a light one, so it's light and glittery. I do think after I used this, it wasn't quite what I liked. Also, you'll notice I keep putting my eyeshadow on the white corset. The white corset is for the Corpse Bride, and it was far too clean for my liking. All right, so we are just gonna pack that on the lid and try to get those sparkles out. I'm pretty sure at a point I realize here that you can't see it as well as I like. So I'm going to go back in a little bit later with some other colors. But for now, here's me blending it in. And now we are going to be doing some eyeliner. So I'm following my entire eye here. I'm not giving her like a crazy cat eye or anything. Just kind of doing straight eyeliner across because she has very open and round eyes. So I don't want to overdo it on the eyeliner. And I don't want to elongate the eyeliner too much, because what that is going to do is going to make your eyes look more slender and long. We want open and round. So we are keeping the eyeliner thin, and we are keeping it on the shorter side. Then we are going in with some white eyeliner on our waterline. And this is going to make our eyeballs look a little bit larger, and that's what we want. And I'm not just doing on the waterline, I'm kind of really smudging it underneath it as well. Do you see? Yeah, so it elongates it. And again, I'm trying to not take that out long past my eye at all. I want it to create the illusion of a round shape, so I'm pulling it down, not too far across. Kind of think about drawing like a curve underneath your eyeball with it, like you've resized your eyes. And so at some point I'll probably get a better mirror that stands higher. Alright, so to increase that illusion of your eyes being very large, use a felt tip or whatever eyeliner you have available that you have fine precision with. Use that to then draw on eyelashes. Fake eyelashes underneath that white. So here I'm using a felt tip eyeliner. It ends up, I believe, running out, and I go back in with some others because you don't want those lines super thick. Also decided to add a little inner corner and a little, yep. So basically creating that second lid there too. And you can tell that this eyeliner is running out because I keep shaking it like a pencil in between my fingers. So I've connected it to the top. Alright, so now we are going in with the pink and the purple. So because that initial purple I didn't show up very well, and that blue wasn't really popping, I wanted one that popped a little bit more. So I added pink as the base in the hopes that it would make the purple pop. And folks, I was not wrong. It definitely made the purple pop. So this is a little bit closer to what she has in the movie, that purplish blue. And I was really pleased once this color came out. Look at that blushing. The please face. Alright, so the day of the con, my plan was to wear false lashes, but because this was a practice round for me, I just did mascara. I would encourage you to wear false lashes, especially because if you put a bottom line of them on, it will really help with the illusion of your eyeballs being larger. Also, and now we're going in with some lip liner to regain my lips that I have covered halfway in blue. She has very pink lips for a corpse. It may look like I'm overlining my lips, which no shade. If you'd like to overline your lips, definitely do it. If I am, it is by accident. I am just literally trying to follow the actual shape of my lips underneath all of that paint. I then, after lining it, went in with a much pinker color because once again, she has very pink lips. And we want to get as close to that color as we can. And I'm just trying to be careful with it because I'm not the best at lipstick. I have a bad habit of getting it in all sorts of places it shouldn't be. So here I am just kind of smoothing out the edges of what I probably messed up. But look how pink those lips are. Good God. I like a pink lip, but usually it's gloss. Spooky! I now no longer look like, Voldemort. Alright, so now we are going to go in and create the hollow that's on her cheek. It's a little bit harder to see in that first image, but you can see it here. She has a gaping hole in her cheek, so we are going to try to emulate that. I do wish, looking back on this, that I had made mine a little bit larger and further back. Because as I said before, you just really want to follow your own bone structure. That applies to teeth as well. So put this hole, I would say, try to move it over where your molars are in the back of your mouth and make it fit your face. Like I said, I wish I would have made this a little bit larger. And I would have pushed it a little bit further back because even though, you know, some of my molars are right there, it feels like it should be closer to underneath like that high point of my cheekbone. So basically I'm drawing the outline of it, and then I'm drawing the outline of the teeth, and then I'm coloring in everything but the teeth to create the illusion of that hole. Alright, so I have, pausing on the cheek, and I'm instead going to be texturizing my body. So I do this with a lot of my other body paint looks. It really helps hide those lines. I did have regrets in doing some of these. I ended up like undoing half of it, but not on the body. But the thing is that you're supposed to be a corpse that's covered in dirt, so I went in with a gray. To just kind of simulate the rot, you know, the decaying flesh, and also girl came out of the ground. She's a little dirty. So I am going through and highlighting that with a whole bunch of gray paint. I do at one point kind of decide I'm not a big fan of it, but we'll see when that point comes. Also, sometimes it's good if you have a lighter color to, again, trying to dirty up this corset. It's good to, if you have a lighter color, to try to highlight the high points of your body, which can be the shoulders. I've added the dirt to my shoulders, but I will likely go back with a lighter color to help with that. Probably a white. I have made a huge mess. This is a messy thing to do. Alright, so we are going in with that really light blue. Okay, so we are trying to create a little bit more of a highlight with that light blue. I think I discovered that I did not like this light blue as much as I like my other Mehron paints. I want to love this palette so bad. I really do, because this is a Mehron palette, but it just kind of lets me down a lot. I don't know what it is about this specific palette. I do think that it did better in making things pop, but as you can see, I went back over with that original blue and just kind of covered up where I put that other blue. It was also a lot greener than it looked in the palette itself. And I was like, I don't, you know, she's a lot of purples and blues and grays, but I didn't really want green, especially now as the highlight. So yeah, once again, just covering my shoulder, all the high points of my body, your shoulders, your collarbones, your cheekbones. And you'll see, yep. And I'm just kind of going in and making that look a little lighter. Also covering up what I did with that, unfortunately, green bit. Alright, so going in and once again fixing that. It also helps, honestly, to have gone over the gaping cheek wound. Helps blend it out a little bit more and make it look like it's more part of a realistic tear in your skin. So just kind of fixing what I kind of messed up with that blue. It's okay if you mess things up. I do it all the time. Alright, so now we are going back in with a black eyeshadow around the edges of that hole to create an illusion of depth. We're just going to try to blend it out. And pack it in. I'm coloring in the teeth with a white eyeliner. I didn't do it with liquid just because I felt like it wouldn't look as good. Like, you know, like I wanted like the hard waxy look that an eyeliner pencil would give over kind of like the painted on look. Alright, so I'm fixing some of the edges here with another black eyeliner, and then I'm going to go in with a very light blue eyeliner that almost matches my skin tone and kind of drawing into that hole. And what I'm trying to simulate now is the flesh having ripped apart to create this hole. It would not have been a clean rip. So I need to kind of have a little bit of blue going into the hole to help create that depth and, for lack of a better word, that realism, you know, as real as you can get with being a claymation character. Here we go. And I went around again with a little bit of that darker blue that I had used on my nose earlier. Just once again, the more your shadow that you're adding in here and blending it out, the more it's going to give it a little bit of a depth. All right, so now we got our wig. I got this off Amazon. It is synthetic. If I'm going to have paint on my body, I tend to get synthetic wigs. This is a flower crown I got from the Renaissance Festival. And it seemed perfect. And then I need one more thing. Well, two more things, but I didn't add yet. Here's my veil. So after this, my plan was to put contacts in. I had some really big, like, anime eye contacts that were really dark. I did not do that because I ended up actually not doing this look at the con. I instead did just the Ice King because I ran out of time. So I will have that transition video after this one. So if you want to see a corpse bride get turned into an Ice King and how you can do that, if you're wanting to combine two of these to do in one day at the con so that you can have two costumes if you're an overly ambitious person like I am, feel free to watch that video as well. But this was my corpse bride tutorial. I will probably, if I keep this channel up, redo this at some point just because I filmed it in a different format than I am, you know, filming now, and I didn't have a microphone so you couldn't hear me and all that sorts of stuff. So I will very likely be redoing this in the future, but for now, this is my corpse bride tutorial. I hope you liked it. And yeah, happy Halloweening or costuming or whatever you're doing this for. Bye.